Welcome back to the North American Spring Split Playoffs. The teams are making their final preparations for Game 4 between Gravity and Team Impulse. And right now, Team Impulse are ahead 2-1 in the series. So what do they need to do to close it out right here, make it a 3-1?
Well, Impulse, I think they should keep Impact on an active top laner that's aggressive. Like Hecarim's been working out really well for him. If that's banned or taken away, maybe Aurelia or something else like that, something that's just going to exert dominance over the other lane.
Yeah, I think like Impulse, like if they got a Hecarim banned, I think something like Gnar can work. I think like Impact is really, really good Gnar player and is really aggressive in the lane.
So we want to see them on aggressive champions, but also still somewhat team fight oriented, as that way they can then move into the late game with that. Now on the side of Gravity, what do they need to do to get back into this game or the series in general?
I think they just need to play just things that are easier to play, basically, because like Shyvana, Nunu, what they had last game, no CC, pretty hard to pull off very well. I think they should just stick to things that are easier to execute, to things with stronger laning, stronger team fighting, and because, yeah, that's their biggest strength that we've seen so far, Gravity's team fighting. So if they try and play to that strength, I think they'll have a much better chance of winning.
Alex, in the post-game analysis, you had mentioned they chose 3 losing lanes. And so obviously this time around they should avoid that. What lanes would you look to for them to make those changes?
Well, I think like what both teams are excellent at the team fights and at the laning phase. So basically both teams should go for like strong lanes and strong team fighters. So basically, that's why I want Gravity like deny the Hecarim, because literally they don't have the answer for their champion, and I don't think that they can first pick the Hecarim themselves. Maybe they will. So this is the thing that they should look for and they should do. And I think that this game like will be really interesting because both teams knows what they did wrong and they will fix it.
All right, yeah, both teams knowing what they need to do in the game. Hopefully now they can pick the compositions that allow them to get there. Let's send it over to the casters to get us back into the action. As we go, Cop says the trick to playing from behind is simple. Ignore the fact that you're behind.
I mean, if you get behind, you don't really focus on your losses. You just focus on just what to do next and just try and be ready for the next game with an open mind and try not to let, I guess, the losses bring you down, and just because there have been a lot of like 3-win comebacks, and so I've been like a part of those, so I understand that we can like always win.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. In terms of best of 5, Cop, unfortunately, he was on the losing side of one of those. 2-0 on LMQ. Yeah. The last 3 went away from him. But you're right. In a best of 5, 1 game at a time, you can win 2 more games here. In terms of in-game, ignoring your behind, I think that actually bit Gravity once when they just kept trying to pick out team fights and got farther back. But you're right. Coming into Game 4, you guys already beat Impulse once. Do it again. Do it one more time. Just focus on the game.
Maybe it's a more versatility. Gravity's social media just tweeted that 2 smites didn't work. 3 maybe?
Maybe.
I like it.
Who knows? Smite support? Anyone?
Yeah.
Honestly, though, this is the 3rd game in a row now that Impulse is taking to the red side in the pick and ban phase based on the team's selection to do it in game number 3. I wonder if Gravity switches up their ban since they were the defeated team last game, and yep, there's a new one.
There we go. Alex said he wanted to see Hecarim off the table. Yeah. It is off the table. Rumble still not allowed for Haunter. His team fight impact was quite high with that champion. First pick. Oh, right. They left Yasuo off the table. They hover and lock in the Rek'Sai.
So that's
they
smart.
know.
Rush's tank Rek'Sai was real good last game. I also wonder where the Vladimir will go here, because they've banned away the Vladimir counter. Last game, Gravity first picked it. So does now Xiao say, what else do you have that can actually counter Vladimir? Or if they actually bring Vladimir top lane, Impact can absolutely play Vladimir if he wants to.
That's true.
Rush was watching Kickus just a few minutes ago, playing a little bit of Shaco. Looks like could be a Vladimir lock-in for the first one here. Gravity getting what they want for Saint in the jungle. His Rek'Sai of full damage build into the Hydra for split pushing was what he tried to go for as opposed to Rush's tank. So still a little diversity there, but Saint could easily change that up coming into this game too.
All right, Rush, 3rd time in a row, plays a fighter jungler. He played Rek'Sai as a tank, but as far as role classification goes,
he
back
still wanted to fight.
A fighter. Sorry, 4th in a row, of course, counting the Lee Sin game. Xiao still wanting Vladimir and Gravity right away. They pick a bit of a stronger lane here, though. The Morgana Graves going to have a lot of pressure in this 2-on-2.
And this is more what I was expecting from Gravity at the very start of the series, was them to be picking away Graves whenever possible. Team Impulse kind of made it easy on them by picking Sivir early in a lot of the games. I don't think Impulse is stronger with Sivir than they are with Graves. I think Graves is the ideal pick for Apollo, since most of the time it's about following up on crazy moves and doing it quickly.
Yeah.
Sivir, while can follow, generally initiates those moves. Graves is just a much better pick, and it shows in their regular season record on those champions.
Absolutely. You know, Apollo was actually talking to Cop about this. He's like, you know, even though I have all these like 70 million Graves games in a row, I played Graves once in scrims this week. Just played everything else instead. Told Gravity this, by the way. I'm not even leaking information at this point. But apparently, you know, the way they're practicing, they think otherwise, that Sivir's going to be fine here. The Leona still comes through to Adrian. You can see as the series goes on, the importance on that champion goes down for Gravity, which means Impulse gets it.
It was a big reason that Impulse was able to take down Team Solo Mid, the spot on ultimates and engagements from Adrian. So it's very good to have him on that comfort pick for them, especially with a little bit of boost from Apollo when they need it on Sivir. We'll see what Gravity can round out their composition now that they have 4 members of Tips to look at.
Yeah, they don't know what either of the solo lanes are. They know Vladimir's going somewhere, and maybe they'd want to opt into round 2.
Yeah.
Or round 3, actually, of Vladimir versus Orianna. Just round 2 for the Orianna on Keen. I have a sneaking suspicion that it's Vladimir top.
Xiaowei
Is it
Zed.
Yasuo? It's unbanned.
Da, da, da.
Does Xiao want to play Yasuo with literally 1 knock-up on the roster?
It's Vi, though.
I guess 2. Sorry, she has 2.
It's a real possibility. Come on, man. Do it. Do it.
Karthus
man.
is also still open, by the way. Just saying, man. Impulse, you came in with some style in your past. Okay. Well, Gravity, by the way, they've got a good team fight comp. It actually looks really similar to the very first game. Zed. Okay.
Zed. All right.
Xiaowei Zed. This is going to be nice. We'll see what he can actually do on this. Known for good LeBlanc play, being able to work with gap closers, being very tricky. Kind of the same aspect there. You're not getting the same damage out of it, but he can definitely do those mechanics.
Yeah. It's a tricky matchup into the Orianna. I've actually heard Yasuo was very good against Orianna, so if he was ever going to play it, it would have been now.
He only picks it in bad matchups, chat. Come on. That's how Xiao works.
It's pretty good at split pushing against a Maokai as well. Impulse having a lot of split pushing options in this matchup, as long as St. Fishes doesn't go damage Rek'Sai again. Maybe that'll happen. It's a fascinating pick ban phase here, as a lot of things were defaulted back onto in this matchup.
It's crazy how much Impulse can come out with and just keep choosing different things everywhere. To end their split beating CLG, they use the double AD composition, which we haven't even seen here yet, as they still pull out new things. Both teams, the bag of tricks, they just keep getting bigger.
It is, but even though the bag of tricks kind of changes, the sort of playmat they're putting these tricks onto is the same. It's engage, it's a bunch of follow-up damage, it is a go in, play around your top lane or your jungle or your mid lane and dealing a whole bunch of damage. Just here's the 4th take on it.
Here's the 4th take indeed. If you think Team Impulse are going to clinch their spot in the semifinals, tweet TIP win, hashtag TIP. Or if you're predicting Gravity will force the Game 5, send hashtag GV win to @LOL Esports. We are just about to get onto the Rift in a few seconds. Impulse is looking to take match point here as Gravity looks to hold on for their life and hold things down.
They've got to nail him to the ceiling, though, because...
floating away.
Yeah.
The hopes are floating away.
Hopes are floating away. Gravity have to win 2 straight if they want to move on to the semifinal and face Team Solo Mid next weekend.
Look at this formation, though. If they're both planning on an invade, we could see a clash in the river.
Binding hits, and it's onto Apollo, the best possible target, but he's going to get himself backwards. The flash engage, they actually take down St. Vicious. And his first blood to Xiao.
Oh boy.
5v4, Binding hits impact.
But is that just going to lead to more chaos?
Oh, the boomerang. I don't think we're done yet. Slightly, maybe, possibly. Potions are being chugged. This is going to make some difficult early starting lanes, too, with Potions going down here.
Rush charging.
Once again, still going in for the fight. That's going to be more damage in. Teleports are not going to be used as one back. Saint trying to get back into this one, and both teams are out for blood to start this one off.
You never know what's going to happen when Rush is charging up his Vault Breaker, but that one was started actually by the Dark Binding. Amazingly Gravity lands the binding on the AD carry.
Oh,
Doesn't
Xiao
come
Xiao.
out
Ooh.
with an advantage. Xiao Xiao goes back and gets another longsword
That's painful.
based on his first blood.
He can even afford an extra potion. Like,
Oh, dear.
is he sitting on 4? He's sitting on 4 potions.
Kopp also mentioned at the start of the series they think they have a best-of-5 advantage because Keen has such a big champion pool, and maybe he'll play a different champion in every game. Well, this is now the second game of Orianna.
Just so happens.
There goes their advantage, right? It's something, if it's a duplicate champion,
Yeah.
it's no longer surprising.
Well, to be fair, though, the second time they played Fizz in the season, they won the game. This is the second Orianna game. Maybe that's how it works after all. Who knows?
There's the
Make up
freeze.
stats to go along. All right, Hanser helps St. Vicious with the first camp, then walks away and lets him get level 2. Gravity are going to double jungle, then realize it's a one-on-one lane as Impact heads to the bottom lane. Kopp gets a small experience advantage as looks like Team Impulse are late to the party.
I see Hanser getting heavily bullied by Impact in that lane. Not only because he's already down Flash, but also because he helped pull, setting him back in lane, and because straight up, I don't think Maokai will almost ever have the damage to kill a Vladimir in lane.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
like close to an ideal matchup for a side lane Vladimir, unless he gets camped by St. Vicious.
Yeah, I think there's a small window where you've got a double CC, right? Hanser can knock up and land a root, St. Vicious can do a knock up on Burrow, and until Impact gets some more levels,
Right.
maybe you can prey on Vlad.
Yeah.
But you're right, I think it's a very uphill battle for Hanser, and as the analyst desk was saying, give Impact a lane where he can go, exert pressure.
He can be active. Yeah.
Yeah, be active, that was the term, and I think this is the situation again.
Well, lanes will meet up again this time, so that means a little bit of that love mid lane possibly from the junglers here in the early game. Or as Saint has been liking to go after this 2v2 lane, go after Adrian, try to blow the flashes of Apollo. Really been towards the top side of the map. We'll see if it continues that way. First blood is all that still sits on Impulse. Is Saint will actually be heading towards the bottom side.
That's what he needs to do, otherwise Impact will take this over. This could be the double CC chain. Let's see it.
All right, here we go. Impact takes a couple of slows, and he's going to wait for the knock-up on Burrow. Impact, can he dodge it? Oh, no, he will not. The red buff is on. Impact has no more tools to leave with. Do they have the damage? They do not. They push him out of lane, but they don't kill him.
Wow. Flash for Flash. Now he's just going to recall and teleport back in. That was the opportunity, I feel like, for Gravity to take control of that lane.
Yeah, going to be rough because they blew their flashes on the way in as well from St. Vicious, so not much to rinse and repeat on that lane. Back and forth. This isn't the Vlad Ori matchup. It looks to be going this differently for Ori this time. A little more damage there, and it's going to be tough relying on that mana. But St. Vicious is going to be quite active to make sure he repairs that.
And Saint's flashless, which means it's going to be even harder
Right.
for him to knock down Xiao Wei Xiao. I want to know how often this Zed saves his shadow. Be careful.
Generous lane tax there by St. Vicious. They got to be careful about that overstay. There's no mana on Keen.
Pretty much the guy to start the lane tax. And being there to tax it, it looks like it's going to cost Keen his life as they were not prepared for the engage from Rush.
Keen was out of resources. They wanted to push
Yeah.
the lane out and then
Yeah.
let him get a recall. But Rush was there in time to turn it all around. Of course, another great kill goes to Team Impulse, and it looks like Gravity starting to get farther and farther behind in this game. The duo lane, Graves Morgana, great duo. You've got Black Shield for Leona. They're down to CS. Bottom lane, the
Yeah.
one-on-one. Even despite a gank, Impact's actually winning in minions here.
And of course, mid lane had the first blood for Xiao Wei Xiao, and it's all about repeating those movements. It was a great read by Rush there, knowing that Gravity was trying to shove. Keen was out of mana. St. Vicious had no flash. So if he arrives there at ganks, knowing they have the level, mana, damage advantage, everything, it becomes quite an easy gank. And now with the Cutlass completed, plus another longsword, Keen is in even more trouble.
It's so hard to gank those solo lanes right now for Saint even. Vlad and a Zed, have fun with that. The top lane is just going to be tough as well, as Apollo's going to use that spell shield to get out of anything tricky. See where Rush goes. Doesn't have to force anything after that, but he likes to. So we should see some more pressure coming from him. This top lane, which is the duo, 40 to 40, as they haven't gotten too much extra pressure from the junglers.
Yeah, just so far, Team Impulse pushing down on this lane. They don't seem afraid of the flashless Rek'Sai.
Yep.
Though there's a fairly low number of wards available on the map right here. They don't. I don't believe they have any tracking on Saint right now. Could
No.
spell trouble for
They had a
Impulse.
danger ping on him, though, so they have a general idea of where he is. Something about Impulse's wards and the positioning of Rush is they know where he's not.
Oh, he's in his jungle. He's killing the raptors.
Well, Rush is in the Raptor camp, so
That's what I
therefore
mean.
he knows Saint will be on the other side, which is why they gave the danger hit.
Yeah.
Even if they don't have wards for it.
Yeah. Sorry about being unclear on that one yet. Rush knows all about where St. Vicious is not. He's actually waiting for him. Or is he waiting behind Keen? Level 6 Zed, level 5. There's the knockup.
What a
Miss, but the
great
death
dodge.
mark comes in. Boom, down he goes, but Rush
never
still
dropped
has
turret aggro.
aggro. Saint smites him. How's that?
Whoops.
How's that, Rush?
The idea was sound. Get the turret aggro onto the Vi so that Xiao can just auto-attack with the death mark and get a clean kill. But then Rush doesn't drop the turret aggro appropriately after the kill. Mistake gives a kill to St. Vicious.
Xiao's got a smile on his face. The lead definitely putting them in a comfortable position. And they know it's not that bad.
Rush is going Cinder Hulk Vi.
Yeah, he is. Who says Rush can adapt to the tank meta?
He just
Play the
builds
same
tank items on the
champion.
same
Just
champion.
build the items on him.
So I will agree that Cinder Hulk is an overpowered item. I don't know if it is this strong, that you just build it on everyone.
Well, you see, he gave up the only death of his team. So he's like, guys, I'm feeding. Might as well build tank items. It's the old solo queue adage. If you're feeding, build tank.
We'll see, because Saint's going to go for damage as well in his build again, so they're going to go for that composition of possible split push with Saint being a beast. Still no pressure to this top lane as the junglers do what they may. We'll see what kind of impact they can continue to have on the game. Rush looking for a 4th assist or maybe even his first kill here as he presents himself, charging up the queue all the way to the turret to make sure these ones hit this game. And he's able to help finalize those kills.
The majority of damage to Team Impulse is from gravity turrets so far in this game. They're really not doing much to pressure elsewhere. They're running out of control really quick.
Cop not looking too happy there on the cam shot. Pretty sad that they're getting taken down in lane in what was a very even lane. They thought they were going to get out of that one safe. And they just got a lot of pressure.
That was 2 pre-level 6 Vi turret dives.
Yeah.
That's
good
how
point.
badly Gravity is getting pressured back into their base. Yes, they did get a kill off of one of them, but that was due to Rush misplaying. Impact has complete control over this Haunter lane right now. Yeah, Gravity will do well to swap this back because their lanes, once again, are going abysmally.
Hopefully it works for Haunter. He's doubled up on rings already, so that's going to prevent some of those items coming in right away to Spike too.
Yeah, we'll see what he ends up doing with his build over on this one. I actually think getting some ability power on Maokai is nice to have. Oh god, Keen. Flashes over the wall, all right. But hey, it's good for Adrian. Burn as a flash.
Now they might just pressure this mid lane turret, though anyone they send to defend might be instantly dove there. The threat of Rush and Xiao. Interesting, they're just going for overall turret pressure. Now they ping on top.
Okay, weird. So what do these guys do now at this one? Because 2,000 gold lead very early on, 9 minutes 25 in. Gravity clears some wards, okay, whatever. But their lane matchups are what I'm interested in. Cop is going to wait down here. They've got control actually over the Dragon area entirely. Apollo can kill his turret when he wants, but Dragon to Gravity will happen. So a bit of a trade of objectives here. Will they be able to do anything to impact? The entire team could dive this guy at a moment's notice.
I feel like Gravity just tries to group and hope that they don't run into another group of champions. Because they are so much weaker in lanes, and even in the team fights right now, at this point, with the items that Xiao has, he can kill anyone. Get out scot-free, then they can chase on with Apollo and Adrian as well. So Gravity is, they're in turtle mode a little bit. Part of them will want to farm out the lanes to try and make it a better percentage later in the game of gold difference, but that hasn't worked since the laning is what got them here in the first place.
See what they're going to do with this. Apollo's going to head back towards the bottom lane after taking that turret. Nobody to soak up this top XP, so I kind of figure that Impulse is going to want to get something else. They have pinged the top turret, so maybe waiting here for Haunter to start making his walk down, and they have... Oh,
Look at this.
Lance-
What do you
Lance-
do? Throw a sapling. No, Haunter. Gonna get
he's
locked
like,
up a little
should
bit.
I listen to my conscience and not go forward? No, I'm going to go forward.
Wow.
He goes down. It seems like he thought about it for a second, but Tip does get the best of him there, as well as Cop getting a little aggression from Apollo. They may go toe-to-toe. Cop says draw. Collateral damage is out. No mana on one side, and Apollo looks like they're just going to do-si-do back and forth.
Breath of Graves ulti. Good
Yeah.
spell shot on the buckshot, actually. Really quick reflexes on Apollo to do that. It's an impressive mark there. Didn't use it on the ulti, but who cares?
Uh-oh. Up right above him. Could have Bunny Fufu with a play here.
He's got a lot of escapes.
Yeah.
Spell
Watch
shield,
out.
ultimate, flash heal. speaking to the overall game a bit more, Rush is actually very low in CS. It's because he's been spending so much time turret diving as well. If you look at the overall gold, he's actually still ahead of St. Vicious. Apollo may not have enough escapes here. Adrian would have to get down bot really soon in order to stop this gank.
Looking at got the Mobies.
Spell shield used. No knockup's going to land, but the ulti on. Nope. Going to be nothing. Buddy Poopa's Black Shield's going to time out. Adrian lands the stun. The boomerangs are on. The ignite. And there's the Q at the end of it all. Nice blue trigger usage.
Bad to worse. Bad to worse.
Cuts him down. He's a flippin' ninja. You got to figure he'd be in the shadows.
Xiao 5-0 and 0. Here's the top lane fight now as well. Hanser trying to battle Impact, but you're seeing this Vladimir having an easy time with this fight.
Yeah, this is Impulse just being stronger across the board and maintaining the lane pressure. Apollo played those dives incredibly well, getting the spell shield on the Rek'Sai knock up, and then Adrian following in properly as Leona. It's desperation time here for Gravity. They're trying to dive, but they are just so far behind in gold, and they know that Impulse is willing and able to dive them.
Impulse willing and able to dive, but also really sharp around the map. You can see Impact gets away from Keen's roam. Wasn't even his lane, but he still figured out that it was happening. Xiao gets mid-turret for that choice. And we're seeing already all three outer turrets are gone at 12:38 into the game. This looks just like game one without... Actually, no. It's even with Rush, like, making all the ganks happen.
Yeah, definitely going to be rough for Gravity to pull out of this one. Their victory came when they were able to kind of hold that 2,000 gold lead for the whole time.
I mean, if we're looking for a difference from game one, it's the fact that Xiao is participating in kills and farming. That first blood that they got was huge. Getting the double longsword, combo that with the kill they had earlier, and his pressure on this map, this is the Xiao of the 2014 summer split, where he's able to win his lane and then crush the rest of the map. It is creating so much for them. Again, could we see a 2v3? Maybe a 2v4? Let's see if this backfires. But there's a collapse from other people.
On to Cop. 2 teleports coming in as well. Haunter over to Apollo. That shield's going to be down. He'll be able to take him out. Now, here's the other teleport, rather. The other one was just an exhaust. Rush comes through, missing the Q. Buddy Fufu goes down. Now it's on to Saint. There's the Vault Breaker's Alt battery onto him. He gets crushed down. They're on for Haunter now. And Impulse just spreads that gold lead to 7,000.
Bloodbath right there, honestly. And this is a very typical Impulse play where it's actually kind of a foolish move, but because they're so far ahead, they still win the fight. It ends up being a 3-for-2. It extends their gold lead by a small margin, and it makes Xiao even more fed. This is suicidal, actually, from Apollo and Adrian. They don't have the immediate teleport support. They do not have their jungler in tow, and they think they can just go in for a 2v2 because they have people flanking in the long run, but they go a bit too early. You can see the teleport hits and St. Vicious hits. Remember, Apollo doesn't have his flash from the previous fight, so he goes down right away. Adrian goes down as well as the rest of Impulse arrives, and then they can clean it up because Xiao is so far ahead and because Rush is Rush.
Just look at the levels coming out of that replay. It's going to be tough for Gravity.
It's a big lead for Impulse. There's actually what I think is a misplay by Haunter in that fight. He popped the ulti to ensure the kill on Apollo and didn't have it for the ensuing team fight. You talked about a suicidal move where, it's 2 kills, just blow your cooldowns. Impulse re-engaged with no Malka ulti.
They are on Apollo
cooldown.
They are definitely on a mission to take him down. There's only going to be so much. What's the team get out of this, though? They got a semi-push in the bottom lane. Xiao is going to get good damage on the mid-turret here. And he may be able to take that down as well.
Apollo saying, what did I ever do to you? That's the third big-time dive Gravity's tried to put in. But honestly, it's the only person they can go for. They can't go for a Vladimir turret dive. And they can't go to Xiao, otherwise he'd kill them all. So they're trying to get kills where they can.
And they can. You're seeing Keen, though, he feel like he's over-rotating for this. He did not participate in that top lane turret kill and gave up pressure in mid. This is the second time Xiao has killed one of Keen's turrets because Keen went top and nothing happened for it.
We'll see where they keep going. That Zed pickup for Xiao last pick is usually what LMQ would do and what Impulse did here. It is working out. Thought they would flex the Vlad against the Ori, and he says, nope, I'm a Zed.
The whole year, we've been waiting for Xiao to come out with good last picks. Oftentimes, he'll last pick a Yasuo into a bad matchup.
Right.
Honestly, Zed into Orianna is an okay matchup. It's actually not anything amazing, but because of the start, because
with
he's
the first
comfortable,
blood.
now it really feels like it's working out. Yeah, counter matchup. Well, what you do, get first blood, go to lane with 2 longswords. Yeah, that's the guide.
Works well.
Do you temper that point then? Like, I agree with you, chat. We're finally having a good game from Xiao, but Riv, it really did take first blood for it to look this way. I don't know which way to think about it. I don't know which way to think about it.
You'd like to think that Xiao came up with the counter pick, but we've seen a ton of Orianna Zed matchups.
I like your control.
It's not like it always goes over to the Zed.
Impact here, drawing pressure from both Bunny Fufu and Comp as Bunny tries to calculate.
Oh, Hanser.
Oh,
Nice
Hanser
on.
indeed. Is he going to be able to cut through the bark on that one? Pulling the alt shadow back. Impact and St. Vicious here again. Actually, from switching that damage build from the attack now over to a bit of defense for himself.
Gravity is trying to turret trade because that will only come closer to equalizing the gold, but at the same time, outer turret's not as important map-wide as an inner turret, especially if it stretches to the inhib turret right here. As
defending.
Gravity is continuing to try that push, and yet
Where's the answer?
nobody is defending.
Wow, big misplay. Then Gravity's going to give up this inhibitor turret from a 3-man, half-health, low-mana sort of push from Impulse. There's the inhib turret going down. It's going to be an easy pressure point now for Xiao or Impact. They want to split push down here later on. Gravity, though, does go 2 turrets for 2. Cop staying up there.
Uh-oh.
You mentioned equalizing the gold.
Here comes Rush. That ultimate is up.
Yep.
He's chilling.
Aww.
He's hanging out.
Who gets it? Who gets it?
Fires everything off.
That's demoralizing, if nothing else, right there. I understand it's kind of a common tactic when you know you're dead in a solo queue type game to just stand there. Just don't do that in a playoff match.
Yeah.
At least try to get away. Make them burn cooldowns, or at least get a little bit of pressure back on them.
With an eye and assist even, right? Go back in. We saw Dominic do that actually in a Sejuani game. He he was dead, so he's like, I want this assist center timeout. Maybe, hopefully, it didn't quite, but
I'm happy to see Impulse backing out because I would actually hate to see that collateral damage he fired off be a reason for them losing the next fight. 30-second spawns and 100-second cooldown, he wouldn't have it if they were to get into an engagement again. Scary stuff, though. It's kind of, you can see how Gravity's feeling about this matchup. It has not gone their way since the beginning. In the first blood, it looked like they were trying to get something big out of that early game, and it backfired.
Cobb's play right there is almost like admitting defeat.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like they may be checked out of the series at this point. They're down 8,000 gold. They don't know the total gold difference. They do know that they're down 4 turrets, though, and they do know that there's an 8-0 Zed on the other side. It's not a completely unwinnable situation. Impulse would have to mess up, but Gravity has to at least try.
well, they're going to face circuit to Xiao. Shadow's going to go in on the Comp here. Dash the way, dodge some of the skills, but nice retreat back. Gets him out of the queue, but the stun still lands on a Xiao. Now how about the retreat? Impulse pick up a kill on one side of the map as the Rek'Sai goes down to Sivir.
Great escape.
Yeah, hey. Whoa!
Woo!
Well,
Hanser does not want to be there anymore.
he's walking, he's running. Taking boomerangs in the back.
A little too deep.
What?
Wow.
Rush still goes in. That was a bit greedy.
I wouldn't have been surprised if they went past the turret, but it probably would have been a good idea with the way Impulse has been playing. Right now, very much in control, looking at over a 10,000, or just about a 10,000 gold lead, I should say. Let's check this out one more time.
Yeah, this is what ended up happening off screen. Rush misses his flash vault breaker.
They can't kill him. It's Tank Vi. Gravity sits there trying to do battle. Oof. Apollo's fed. Rush won't take damage.
Rush is like, I like this new meta. Yeah, Cinderhawk, all right.
Please hit me, I dare you.
It works.
So, I don't think this is optimal. this is just me spitballing here.
Still have to clarify.
A little bit theory crafting here. Rush has the champions that he is really good at and really confident on, and in these playoffs with a short turnaround to pick up tank junglers in a competitive setting, he's just decided to split the difference. Tank item on his old junglers. Oh god.
Goodbye.
Who needs Deathmark? It's only a gap closer for Xiao.
Oh man. It's one of the worst feelings in the world when you're like, all right, you buy Quicksilver Sash against Zed.
Look at his
Doesn't
items.
matter anymore.
Look at his items. He's 3 items. Cop is 1.
It's bad. It's bad. And now 20 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, Impulse are already starting Baron. 10 kills, 9,000 gold up. Why not add another neutral objective to the field? Fine, it's Adrian. I mean, Baron's doing some damage here. Haunter's in the mix.
Dangerous.
For Apollo, spell shield's on though. Will they be able to get there and help out Haunter? Now he's trying to retreat from this one. That only leaves St. Vicious. Bunny Fufu's trying to hold the Soul Shackle line, and that's not keeping the fight organized. A nice command shockwave, but it only brings Rush a little bit closer to Keen, and that may be his life that he pays with it for. Over to Concert. Rush is just like, I got both of them, don't worry. I'm going to fight everyone by myself. Punch first, ask questions later. Adrian's going to help with this one. Finalize that. The double kill for Rush, as he just does not stop fighting.
Oh
Xiao split push the whole time. Cop left, unfortunately, to defend against that. Never going to happen. Xiao takes the inhibitor, Impulse takes the fight, and most likely the series.
Hey man, ever since cops put those cameras on, police brutality has gone down. You can't blame him.
I like how Apollo can't fight Baron anymore because you just take damage for being near him.
Yeah, they got to peel off at this one.
Yeah. All right, Apollo. No life steal for you, no potion left over, no Baron for your team. Bring consumables, homie. Either way, it does give Gravity some time to play back around their map. They're going to get their own blue buff. Get to farm some minions, but it's
so
getting worse.
You hate to do this because the series is most likely over, but a 9-0-0 Xiao, gold-wise, is almost a 12,000 gold 22 minutes into the game. He is at least 4,600 gold richer than every member on Gravity at this point. If you take Cop and Bunny Fufu's farm and combine it, you get Xiao.
Xiao's gold is the gold lead of Team Impulse. And here we go, team fight in the top lane. Quickly, Keen goes down. They trade back on Impact, though.
All right.
Maybe a bright thing for Gravity. Adrian in the crosshairs. That's 2 for 0. Maybe this is the fight, but Rush answers this one back. 2 for 2. Now Saint's the target. Apollo gets shut down. It's 3 kills and Saint's still alive. Rush makes short work of that one. A 3 for 3 now.
So
Cop
big.
cannot survive Rush. And Xiao is still pushing. He takes the turret down. He's nearly dead himself, but he survives it. And now Cop is like, block this answer, please?
He's going to have his ultimate very soon. Assault and batteries on a
Root him.
0-second cooldown.
Okay.
So close!
He's gonna get him!
So close!
Wide!
Super dunk! Oh, he didn't get dunked. It wasn't
All
a switch. They hit the backboard. It's all right. Haunter, he's going to get over to the Gromp here with a twisted. He could be chased. There it is.
Well, Hansa, you survived, but the middle inhibitor is down, and the enemy team won the fight.
Oh,
All right,
Rush.
Saint.
A new challenger approaches.
I don't know. I think Rush still has the same amount of health Saint does in this fight.
Feels like it.
Actually, you're about right.
He actually does. They're both around 1,700.
All right, they're letting 1v1. Oh, is that a 1v1?
What is this?
Keen shows up, shut down.
It's a BM.
And now Adrian on the retreat. So these fights just keep going. That is 2 play-by-plays here, Rip. We got to keep the action going. Saint Vicious now getting pushed around. Adrian ulti's going to land, meaning Apollo should claim that.
Ooh.
But the Shockwave buys more time, but not enough.
The shock bump, I like it. A little bit of a combo there. It's not enough. You're right. Keen is running out. He is empty in the tank. Cannot offer more.
Dear.
Adrian coming out of nowhere for another lockdown. The ignites there. Was the shield be enough? Nah, the Hemo Plague is going to finish that one off. Get a little dance, and go. That was nice.
Wow.
Saints got a smile on it. They kind of know their fate. And
How many kills were that fight?
what they can.
24 kills in 24 minutes now for Team Impulse. They are a few minutes away, I think, from clinching their spot in the semifinals to take on
Team Solo
Mid. Now they can finally group up and take Baron. This is a playoff series. This is the final game in a playoff series for the craziness that we're seeing in these fights. Impulse is playing fast and loose the way they like it, and it is working for them.
Absolutely. Completely blindside your opponent every time you can. Another blindside, straight rolling over
Perfect
Bunny
score,
Fufu.
10-0-0 for Xiao. Look at that.
I asked where the MVP Xiao was. I guess
He's back.
he brought it out.
Interestingly enough, his kill participation is still very low.
Yeah.
10 of the 25 kills, still
the
lowest in the league.
Goodbye, Saint. Ups it a little bit. Still lowest, but, better off.
He's so greedy, soloing everybody by himself.
Even all of Gravity have higher kill participation. He's lowest in the entire game. Keen exploded! Xiao, can he find the game? No, an assist! Xiao got an assist in that fight. Oh, the score is broken.
13 kills is an unlucky number. He didn't want it. So they're going to continue on and try and move into the semifinals.
This is going to be it.
What a fantastic show here coming from Team Impulse. The choice of red in the third game to stay on that red side. After they lost from the red side, they persevere, they find the game. It's 3-1 in the best of 5, and Team Impulse will move on to take on Team Solo Mid in the semifinals.
All 3 of their victories in this series were fast games. Game 1 was 25 minutes.
No doubt about it.
The last game was 25 minutes as well. This team plays fast.
That's what they said they'd do at the very start when they made the team. The first half of the split, it wasn't very good. The impulses were denied a lot of the time. They didn't have the entire lineup for a little while. Yeah, but to me, actually, it was the beginning of Week 5 when they played Gravity the second time. That was the game I think Impulse turned the corner and started closing games out fast. They've had I would say the most sub 30-minute wins of any team in the LCS. I would say that's very likely to be the case here. They crush lanes and they close the game out.
Best game Xiao has had all split as well. It's because Xiao faced was there to support him today. But take one advantage is really all these guys seem to need. Whether it comes later on in the series, whether it comes from first blood. In the first 3 games of the series, Gravity actually had the first blood, which delayed Impulse getting that advantage. But because of the level 1 in this 4th game, they just took it home so easily. They're so good at playing with the lead.
Yeah, they get the lead, they just build the lead bigger and bigger and bigger. And once they get the lead, they just take turrets down so fast. Impulse gotta feel pretty good about that series.
Very, very happy indeed. They will move on to take on Team Solo mid. Gravity will look for next season.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite an break for them to figure out what to do, what went wrong, and how to patch things up, because there is still good signs of life for this team.
As far as it being a first split in the LCS, not that bad. They picked up a coach halfway through the season there with Last Shadow, so there's still more things they can do to improve. They'll have to be a summer split team. Cop had a career season. Unfortunately, it has to end like this.
Very similar teams in that sense of coaches and having a stable roster. After Impact got here, it was only 1 week, but these both very young coming teams from when they were organized to come out this strong in the split. Very, very well done for both of them.
Yeah,
Still smiles on their face. They know how they play. They played well. Impact just played better.
Yeah, absolutely. You can talk about Gravity.
Impulse.
This is a team, of course. You talk about Gravity, this is a team that almost always can keep smiles on their faces. Sure, disappointment, right? These guys never won anything. They'd really like to. They'd like to have a really good playoff finally.
Yeah.
But they're all friends. They get along well. Top 6 for your first time in the LCS. Pretty darn good. That's still, I would say, a good season for Gravity. I think better than most people expected them to do.
Yeah.
And you still got to give them an overall thumbs up. We'll see them in summer. They get a couple of circuit points. We'll see how they go second time around. Talk about Impulse, though. The speed at which they rose, to me, was the impressive thing.
Individually and team-wise.
Yeah, I mean, you come in, you're like, okay, MVP Xiao, Rush #1 Korean solo queue, Impact former world champion. No duh, this team should be good.
Yeah.
And obviously, their individual skills was putting them ahead in much of their games. But the fact that they went from a 4-5 first half of the split to a 7-2 and then a 3-1 in the playoffs second half of the split here, they have risen quickly. In a month and a half, they became a top team in North America, and now they're top 4 challenging TSM for the throne.
And they're incredibly scary, right? Yeah. These playoff matchups that we're getting for the next bit of these playoffs are awesome. Team Liquid, who 3-0'd COG, going to be going up against Cloud9, a rematch there in the playoffs.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And now, honestly, TSM versus Xiao. If we remember that playoff series from last year, it took TSM all 5 games to take down LMQ. And this team, even though they don't have the same standings in the regular season as LMQ had, they are a very scary team. I'd say this is a better LMQ, better team than LMQ.
Right.
It's definitely not the same team anymore.
A higher ceiling.
Higher ceiling. We've been saying that against Impulse the entire year. Today they defied Gravity, broke right through it. Let's see them against TSM.
They're climbing up the ladder, certainly, right? Starting out the season pretty low on and moving up here. And they can challenge the #1 team in North America to get into the finals here. That's going to be an incredibly fun match. Impulse overall, I still want to see more texture to their gameplay because they win with an early game lead. Okay, congratulations. CLG did the same thing. And then when teams caught on to them and started matching their early games, CLG started having a harder time closing games out. Team Impulse, they can close games in 25 minutes. What happens when you don't get a lead? Well, when you don't do that against Gravity, Gravity beats you in game 2 of that series.
Exactly. It's a one-dimensional team.
Yeah.
More so than we've seen. Rush changed his build a little bit. He's now a tank fighter jungler, and it seems to be effective. That's something that TSM can prep for. But we said at the very start of the series, how was Gravity going to prep for this Impulse team? Because there is a specific way they want to play with a fairly specific set of champions. You can still see they default back onto Leona. They had some wrinkles here with the Vladimir top lane and the Zed from Xiao. But TSM, probably the best team at preparing different strategies, really loves best of 5s. We'll see if they can exploit those weaknesses against Team Impulse, or if they're just so strong at that one play style, if they could take TSM down that.
We'll see. The last time the Impulse beat Team Solo Mid was with a like composition that they used today. It was a Morgana, Lee Sin, Graves, Leona. In the middle was Kassadin, which could be flipped out for anything that they played today, pretty much in that composition.
That's true. That was a Xiao pretty much hard carry match.
Yeah.
I remember that game now, actually, where, yeah, Xiao pretty much 1v5 team fights in about so much time that the rest of the battles went well.
Yeah.
As long as they can get past the rush, I buy, therefore I am tactic, then they'll be all right.
I do
He is
really
a tank.
love that.
He is adapted to the tank meta. He is running Tank Vi.
His
and
health,
Tank
armor, and
Rek'Sai.
MR are all high numbers.
I can't
Must be a
wait
tank.
for Cinderhulk Nidalee to make her appearance in the LCS.
Cinderhulk Italy will be next.
We actually had that last season, the whole Tank Nidalee build, like Triforce into like Sunfire. Like, that was a thing. Yeah, you're right. That would Tank Fizz. I mean, actually, that already exists.
That's
Never mind.
exist.
Keen played that, so I guess we're good.
We have a lot of alleys we could go down with that one, but right now they are already at the analyst desk, so we're going to throw it over at Dash with two members of the victorious Team Impulse.
Thank you, Riv. I'm joined by Apollo and Rush here after a 3-1 there. Apollo, I'm coming to you first. You guys are now guaranteed at least top 4 here in the spring split. As a team that was put together just this season, just this split, how does it feel to come away with this victory and know that you're finishing at least that high?
I mean, especially since we had like a pretty rocky mid-season, early season, it feels good to be top 4. I mean, I don't know if we expected it, but maybe towards like the end of the split, we're like, okay, we're feeling pretty good. We're feeling pretty confident about ourselves. So yeah, I'd say in general it feels good.
All right, and Rush, to you, something that's been really interesting to us is that you played Vi, Rek'Sai, Lee Sin, 3 champions over the 4 games. But most people think this is a tank meta, and you're playing these fighter junglers. Why are you, of all the junglers, finding success on those champions?
If I can dodge some skills with my mechanics, I don't need to play real pure tank jungler. With fighter jungler and some skills, I can do damage and be tanky both.
All right, so you're relying on your mechanics.
Yes.
That's quite the gamble, but I like the confidence in being able to do that. And it talk to me, Apollo, about what that allows your team to do, because most other teams are getting pigeonholed into having to adapt to the tank meta, but having a jungler who has the confidence and the ability to execute on fighter junglers actually gives you guys somewhat of an edge in pick bans by still being able to go after champions like Lee Sin.
Well, I mean, I always tell Rush to go tank jungle or to pick up tank jungles, and he's like, no, I'm gonna play Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, and whatever he plays. But it's good. Like, I can always rely on Rush to do well, and I mean, he's gonna go aggressive, and it doesn't really matter what champion he plays. It's just like it's always gonna be aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And given that aggression, Rush, we talked to you about how you wanted to approach the best of 5 format, and you said you wanted to take it one game at a time. How was your first best of 5 experience? How did this go for you?
Actually, the first lose make us kind feel bad or worrying about, oh, maybe we can lose. But it was still okay because we trusted ourselves and just focus on one game and one game. That was enough.
There it is. Did your coaches play a big role in that, in having the discussion after that loss and letting you refocus on the next game?
We thought even though we lost on the second match, we thought like we played better than them, but just unlucky on the Dragon fight. Kin played really well on the SP fees, so we thought that we can play a game. Again, we will not lose.
You talk about individual skill, Apollo. I think people would universally agree that you are playing extraordinarily superior this split than the last time we saw you in the NALCS. What would you attribute your personal growth to between then and now? And then what is the next stage of your development? Where do you see yourself improving next?
Yeah, when I last played on Coast, I mean, there was like a lot of factors into why I didn't do so well, but it's just like, over time, like I just, got better. Like I just tried to work on what I needed to work on. Like I just got better at the game. And then as well as like having a good coach and having a good team, they helped me build myself as a better player as well. We saw a lot of Sivir and Graves picks from you here. I mean, Graves has been a solid champion for you all season. Sivir, very highly prioritized here. Why is it specifically those 2 champions that you're leaning towards? I don't know. Coach just wants me to play those champions.
All right, Coach said so, so I'm going to go for it.
I mean, like, Graves is obviously a good champion just because he's strong in the early mid game and he's really easy. Like, he's really easy, right? So we just needed we needed a champion that can be kind of like a lane bully, can be self-sustained, doesn't really need that much jungle pressure, and that's just what it was.
All right, finally, Rush, I want to ask you about TSM next week. You guys have gotten through this quarterfinals, but you're playing the #1 seed TSM next week. How do you feel about that matchup? You guys have a 1-1 head-to-head record going into that match.
I heard that the last split, LMQ lost against TSM playoff for 2 and 3, isn't it? But I think every single players are better than LMQ players, every position except for mid. So I think we can beat them at least 3-2.
All right, okay, looking for a good series going 3-2 all the way through that. Well, gentlemen, first I have to thank you very much for joining me on the desk and congratulate you on your victory. Very solid. Now, for some final thoughts on the series, let's check in with our guys on the caster desk.
Thank you very much, Dash. We have so many more ideas that we can. No, I'm just kidding. But
look, whole teamo.
Yeah, looking at that game, I like Jat's point in the beginning. Also, one that Cop made is that we should stick to Keen's champion pool, and I think that's one thing that did hurt Gravity going through that is that they actually stuck too much to one thing in Keen's champion pool, and it was the Orianna once it lost, and not giving him enough versatility when we see him doing great things on Urgot, great things on Rumble, and being able to excel.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there was a lot of strategy in those pick and ban phases, and this was not heavily variant. I mean, the fact that they kept the Twisted Fate band the entire time and never let that go through, you can always second guess pick and ban phase from the losing team, and it's very hard to argue against that. What I would say maybe the turning point of this series was for Impulse was just when they did take it one game at a time. Yeah. They stayed true to their own play style, right? They recognized what was stopping them from playing that style, and they either banned that away or picked it themselves. And I think that was the main key for them winning here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Team Impulse, they kept finding high pressure, carry potential top laners for impact of play. Morgana didn't work. Forget it. Let's go somewhere else. Go play Vlad. Go play Hecarim, right? Go have an impact on the game. Great. Okay, good. Okay, Rush, keep playing your fighter junglers to get us ahead, right? Find these champions that do good things pre-6, unlike Sejuani, unlike Nunu, sometimes unlike Nautilus. Okay, that still works, right? The fact they're playing their style, okay, they're making adaptations, whatever, but good times. And I think that as far as their picks and bans go, right, they banned the Urgot, right? They didn't let that stuff come down. They realized they didn't actually have to care about the tank junglers that St. Vicious could play, and they realized they could drop those Sejuani and Nunu bans because there was enough else going on. And so the adaptations definitely were very good by Impulse.
That was the most interesting thing for me, actually, is when they dropped the Nunu Sejuani bans, Saint didn't go for Sejuani.
Yeah.
Right? His Sejuani actually looked pretty good in the games that they did win with it. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's easy to second-guess these things. That was a surprising moment in the series, though, and really gave Impulse a lot more versatility.
Absolutely. Well, it does leave TSM and Cloud9 a little bit of homework to do on these teams now that they've seen both of them play as we head into the semifinals. And now to close out our day and preview our semifinals, let's throw it back over to the analyst desk.
Thank you, gentlemen. Talking about that series, we're going to close it out here. Some great information coming from Rush there, and that he relies on his individual mechanics to allow him to play those fighter junglers where he would normally have to just be beefier and tankier to absorb them. I thought that was a pretty interesting take on this tank meta.
Rush, really confident player. I think that TSM can definitely learn a lot from this match about Impulse, and that they'll be able to recognize where their strengths and weaknesses are. So I think that if Impulse are going to continue on, then they might have to switch up some of the strategy that they've brought in.
Alex, each thoughts on this series as it closes?
I think that series were pretty fun, and I really hope it would go for the 5th game, but unlucky level 1, and it did pretty fast. As for Rush, I really like his how he sees the jungle currently. His team is asking him, "Can you go tank jungler?" He's like, "Okay, Vice tank, look, Cinderhulk, I got it."
Yeah, absolutely. He has a very interesting take on that. Now, from a ton of great plays, though, across the board and players in general, we did land on one player that stood out from the rest. Our player of the series is Rush. He contradicted the tank meta, bringing out 3 different champions with Lee Sin, Rek'Sai, and Vi. Rush was also able to take on an enemy team that was running double smite and still led his team to victory. I mean, I have to say, his playmaking and his ability to camp lanes and recognize where he needs to put pressure is what was most impressive to me about this series.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Rush showed he has like really great knowledge of when to gank, when he can dive. I think he's definitely the best jungler at ganking, like by a long shot.
And then Alex Each, you mentioned you liked his mindset when it comes to the jungle. Do you think that a team like TSM can be more punishing though of his somewhat non-standard builds and aggressive play style?
I think that TSM they will go for much stronger lanes. They usually go for it. So I think that it can be punished much more because for example, if the Bjergsen will be winning as he usually does, and then when Rush goes for dive to some lane, Bjergsen will be there, and then it will be punished super hard.
All right, so we'll see if he can, establish enough cool-headedness before he goes into that game and plays overconfidently. Let's check out the bracket as it continues to fill out. Team Impulse have successfully claimed their spot in the semifinal and will face off against our number 1 seed, Team Solo Mid. And in the top half of the bracket, number 2 Cloud9 is set to take on the winner of our first quarterfinal, Team Liquid. All of our semifinalists are guaranteed at least 30 championship points that they will carry into the summer split. That will become incredibly important as teams look to grab one of the 3 spots to represent North America at Worlds. When we look at this bracket in general, we see Cloud9, TSM, TIP, and Team Liquid, 4 very strong teams. How do you guys see those semifinal matches playing out?
I still think it's going to be a TSM C9 finals.
All right, what about you, Alex?
I think it should be TSM versus C9 finals, and we'll see if Team Liquid can overcome the first place curse.
Do you give Impulse any chance over TSM here in their semifinal?
I think that they could take a game or two, but I don't see them winning the whole set.
All right, a lot of confidence there in TSM. Well, that's just about going to do it for us today. Remember that we will be back with more league action starting on Tuesday with the Challenger Series playoff, 2 best-of-5 battles for 3rd place. And on Wednesday, be sure to check out the finals to see which teams will take first place and claim their spots in the EU and NA-LCS for the upcoming summer split. A lot on the line there. We'll start in Europe with Origin taking on Copenhagen Wolves Academy. That starts at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Then plan to tune in for the North American Challenger Series with Enemy Esports taking on TDK. You can stay current on all the news from around the world with a new primetime league with a special Thursday time slot. And on Saturday, the LCS semifinals kick off in the European LCS with Fnatic versus H2K Gaming. After that, we'll move the action back to North America for Cloud9 versus Team Liquid. That will hit your streams at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 5 p.m. Central European Summertime. Now, I want to extend a special thank you to both Poboter and Alex Each for hanging out, keeping us honest today on the analyst desk, and for the entire live broadcast crew. Thank you for watching, and good night.
We're gearing up for our first game of this quarterfinal series between Team Impulse and Gravity. Oh, 3-man shockwave impact on the side as well. Tries to bump out of that one. Onslaught of Shadows goes through.
But they do get the kill on the mispositioned Xiao Wei Xiao. The fight continues. Shockwave's a few, but Rush still there for Cop.
25 minutes. Impulse going to take game 1.
No, he's going to miss the buy. Here comes the engage. 2-man knockup. First kill comes in. Second one comes in as well. Xiao Wei Xiao pushed down. It's a 3-kill start to the fight.
Vice dead. Get him.
I'm moving through.
Leona?
Yeah.
Go
straight pull ups. I'm going in.
Ian 6.
I'm going in.
Blind.
Kill Vlad. I'm blind.
Gravity have tied up the series 1-1.
Okay.
Cheers, Shyvana.
Okay. Shyvana. Coming. Vlad?
30-second cooldown. Outside.
Okay. Thirst.
Oh, he's flash. Back.
Nice.
Deaths. I want to have the most deaths.
We got 2 minutes.
Let's go Cog,
good, right?
Zyra, Scion, Karthus.
Oh, we all just picked dying champions.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
if we lose a
Yorick,
team fight, we have a chance to come back, right?
Yorick.
There it is! Hands and it's onto Apollo, the best possible target, but he's going to get himself backwards. The flash engage, they actually take down St. Vicious.
Rush comes through, missing the Q. Buddy Fufu goes down. Now it's on to Saint. There's the ball breakers, all battery onto him. Rush is just like, I got both of them. Don't worry. I'm going to fight everyone by myself. Punch first, ask questions later. Adrian's going to help with this one. And Team Impulse will move on to take on Team Solo Mid, the semifinals.